Hey, what's going on, everyone? It's Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. What a day as Alabama puts together a fantastic class of 2024. I'm going to give you my observations on this class. I really like what Nick Saban put together. There was a bit of some surprises today, a couple guys that Alabama would like to have to the class. But I think when you look to the flips that Alabama did get, it puts together a really good class of 2024. I appreciate you guys being here. Hit the thumbs up, like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys being here again. And let's kind of zoom in at the class of 2024 and kind of go from the 5 stars. And then I'll talk about some miscellaneous notes and some guys that we are still anticipating to sign going forward. Okay, so up top to the left of your screen, you got Julian Saban. And coming into this class as a 5-star quarterback. Just heard Coach Saban highlight how impressive he is as a player. And then the one thing that Coach Saban really likes is the consistency factor. And when you look to Julian Saban and what he's been able to do at the high school level, he's been one of the top performers at the high school level since he's been leading the helm at the quarterback position. And I think the same goes for Julian Saban and Ryan Williams. I mean, Ryan Williams was just named the Max Preps MVP, and I'm sure one of the biggest questions out there is, when is Ryan Williams going to sign? I got that all day during our almost 9-hour stream. And Ryan Williams will sign on February 9th, 2024. I think that's his birthday, and that's when he's officially going to sign. And right now, he's a solid commit with Alabama. He said that several times. Clearly, there's going to be continuing smoke with, is Auburn going to be in play here? And I think watching Perry Thompson today have both of the hats with Alabama and Auburn, you know, this is an in-state rivalry, and it's not over until it's over. But Ryan Williams has said many times that he is a solid commitment to the Alabama Crimson Tide. I can't even imagine Julian saying just down the road. Think about saying playing with Ryan Williams. Love that combination, or as it would be going forward. So you have Jalen Mbakwe, who is an early enrollee as well, and I think he's going to fit the loss of Kool-Aid. I don't think right away. I mean, it's hard to say because a lot of these guys can come in and step up as a true freshman at that corner position, but I think you clearly needed to fulfill that spot in the secondary. One particular prospect that Coach Saban was asked about plenty during his press conference was Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. And Coach Saban said that that's the first legacy that he's had here at the University of Alabama. Now, of course, he said that's not the first legacy that he's had when coaching, because he did coach Mark Ingram's dad way back in the day. But in terms of being at Alabama, think about that. You want to feel old. Dre Kirkpatrick Jr. Is here. And while he is a 3-star, I mean, this kid is playing at a very high level. He just had 2 interceptions in the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game. And Coach Saban said that Jay Kirkpatrick and Jay Kirkpatrick Jr., different players. And I think it's going to be really interesting to see how he kind of evolves into that safety position. I know he's a hard hitter for sure. And coming off that 2 interception performance, that was certainly impressive. I think Alabama, one thing that they really did well is I think they got some quality tight ends in. And you're like, tight ends? Yeah, I like the tight ends that they got in. Caleb Odom is a guy who I think can replace Amari Niblack down the stretch, a guy that can stretch the field. He's going to create mismatch. Is in the red zone. I think he's a complete player. Really like the playmaking ability of him. And then Jay Lindsey. Had a chance to watch Jay Lindsey's film, and I think he's another guy that's going to replace Robbie Oots. And I'm cutting this live, and Jimmy Baker's jumping on, and he's like, man, that's a lot of stars. Hell yeah, that's a lot of stars on this class for sure. Talking about the tight ends, I really like these guys. Now, one of the biggest things was could Alabama land Edric Houston? And he was committed to Ohio State. And there were some major guys who follow recruiting and break news. I think it was even a Steve Whitfong. I mean, these guys don't miss. And they said that they had forecasted Houston to flip to Alabama. There was certainly talk there. And then in the final minutes, I'm not sure what happened, but Houston, who is a very talented defensive lineman, ends up sticking with Ohio State to help bolster their class. And that was a big get for the Buckeyes. And you never want to say, oh, that guy wouldn't have been a great addition. Yeah, he would, 100%. You watch that guy's film out of Buford. I mean, the guy out of Buford in Georgia. I mean, complete baller, 100%. So the defensive lineman that Alabama does have coming in, you have Stephen Bua, who came in, and you have a couple other guys. You have Jeremiah Beeman. Man, watch Beeman's film. You'll be really impressed. If you're worried about losing Houston, check out Beeman's film. You'll be really impressed. And then you have Fega, who's also in that class, and then you also have a couple other guys that have been added to the mix. I think Jayshon Jayshon Ross, who's an edge rusher. And then another addition in that transfer portal was LT Overton. And I thought that was a really critical pickup for Alabama a day before signing day, right? So you hit on those defensive, line or edge rusher needs, and you miss out on Houston, but, that's how it goes. And Coach Saban was clearly, what he said just at his press conference is this class is not complete. And he said they're going to have some guys come in January, not as many as the past, but I think there's certainly going to be some guys who are still in the mix to join this class of 2024. Coach Saban said Avery Hampton, who was a flip. Now, Alabama did have two flips today, Avery Hampton being one of them, and then you have Kevin Riley. So let's start with Hampton. Coach Saban was asked about Hampton in his press conference and said, he's a dog. He's got that dog mentality, and he's all over the field. And Coach Saban likes those type of players. So him coming in as an athlete, could he potentially be a guy? I always look at recruiting as who are these guys going to replace when they exit out? Could Hampton be a guy that replaces Malachi Moore, another very versatile player that can play all over the defense? Makes sense to me. Alabama was in play for, there was a lot of people talking about maybe Jaden Baugh and Kevin Riley ending up at Alabama as a running back, right, for the running back position. Well, Alabama's able to flip Kevin Riley from Miami to Alabama. Big pickup in-state and really right in your backyard, Tuscaloosa County High School. Go back and watch Kevin Riley's highlight tapes. Absolutely a playmaker. I look at him as a really balanced running back, and I saw him catch the football really well out of the backfield as well. Let's talk about the wide receivers that Alabama added. You have yet to have Ryan Williams sign. I talked about that at the beginning of this particular video, but you did have a couple guys sign today. And you have Amari Jefferson who signed, and then you have Rico Scott. So the thing about Amari Jefferson, and when I looked at who could he replace going forward, is to me Kendrick Law. I mean, this is a guy who's already 205 pounds or something like that, and he has a really good speed. I think like down in the rankings, he's a little bit further than people would like him to be. I'm not really worried about that because I've seen his tape, and the dude can absolutely fly. You're talking about a 4'4" guy at 205 pounds. I really like him coming in. And then you have Rico Scott as well. Let me ask you guys this. You guys have watched Rico Scott's film. Who do you think he is comparable to in that wide receiver window? Alabama on the offensive line. I don't really know who else they could add to that offensive line. I honestly feel that Alabama is going to take a transfer tackle. I think looking at the roster, and I know you have a lot of guys coming back, you just have to take a tackle. I think that's going to be one of their transfer portal targets is going to be a tackle. So you look at the offensive linemen that Alabama were able to bring in. You have Casey Poe coming in. You have Will Sanders. You have Joseph Ionita. And, the class overall, I think, filled their needs for the most part, but I think Coach Saban would like to still take a player from the offensive line and kind of bolster that unit, and that's why I think they're going to take an offensive tackle out of the transfer portal. Let me know if you agree with that inside the comment box. Appreciate you, Davis, inside the comment box of the Super Chat. I really appreciate you. I'm kind of glancing over this as well to kind of see what else stood out to me in terms of looking at this particular class. Because I think when you look to the class, you have a lot of needs that were fulfilled. But as Coach Saban said, it's not a completed class. So you kind of go forward with that. And overall, I mean, Coach Saban put together another fantastic class. He was even asked about what makes him an elite recruiter. He's like, I don't know. I mean, I was thinking, man, the proof. The first round draft picks, the fact that he's 6-1 in semifinals, the fact that he's still going for another national title. I mean, there's so many reasons. Why not Alabama? I think that the cherry on top would be Evan Stewart. He's in the transfer portal. Haven't figured out where he's going to go just yet. Can you imagine if he comes to this class? Now, does Alabama need him? Yeah, I would absolutely say so. But is it a make or break? Not necessarily. I think an offensive tackle is kind of a make or break in terms of getting somebody from the transfer portal. But of course, who wouldn't love to see Evan Stewart lined up with the Alabama Crimson Tide? Want to hear from you inside the comment box about this class of 2024. As you can see, ton of stars all the way across the board. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave this graphic up if you're watching this live, and just let it run for a little bit of time, because there's a lot of people that might have missed this class. And if there's a couple other notes, I'll jump on. But you're watching a live cut. I'm actually going to trim this video and then upload it as my signing day recap, which will probably air later tonight. So I appreciate you guys watching and supporting the channel. My name is Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for supporting the coaches and Ty Hayes. All those guys do such a really great job. From beautiful Santa Fe, New Mexico, during this holiday special on National Signing Day, Kyle Henderson of Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys.